Okay, well, welcome everybody. My name is Alan Berkowitz. I do work for the Hartford, and we're here today to talk about the Hartford Advantage, what we do best. Joining me this morning is Bo Blumenthal. He is a senior sales representative. I've upgraded him there. Apparently my corrections to my slides didn't take. And Bo is your select customer sales rep. He invited you today, and I'll have him welcome you. Bo?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Yeah, thank you for the upgrade in pay scale. Welcome, everybody. I really appreciate you taking some time to get on this call. Hopefully, most of you are familiar with me. I am, as Alan said, I am your small commercial sales and marketing rep. Really happy to have you all on. Really happy to share with you a lot of good info here today. I think there's going to be probably some info that you are probably already familiar with, but I can guarantee you that there's going to be at least a few things that you'll come away with that you didn't already know. So thank you again, and we'll get going.
Well, thank you, Bo. If you would, many of you have attended our webinars before, so I'm just going to highlight. I have muted the phone line so that we don't get background noise. And so you can utilize the WebEx tool. There's a green tab at the top of your screen. If you click on it, it will open up a toolbar, and at the far right of the toolbar there is a question mark. When you click on the question mark, it will open up a dialog box. And if you would, so that I know that you can hear me and so that I will know that you also have speakers or access to sound coming through your computer, could you type into that dialog box, yes, if you have the ability for sound to come through your computer, or no if you don't. Please send that in to me now so that I can be prepared, because we are going to see a video in just a few moments, and I'd like for you to hear it. So again, open up the Q&A box, and then yes if you can get sound through your computer, no if you cannot. All right, well, we've got some responses. Very good. Our agenda today is we'll do some brief introductions, which we've done. I'm going to talk about that not all policies are alike, and then we're going to really dive deeply into our spectrum, our bot product. We're going to talk about what we like, and I know many of you, hopefully, that was sort of our draw was to talk about what is it that we're successful at. So we'll be talking about that, and I'll share that information with you. We'll be talking about the ease of doing business with Hartford when it comes to our bot. And we'll talk about some of the special coverages that we have available. I'm going to touch on, really our advantage for commercial auto as well as workers' compensation, and then we'll wrap it up. So a lot of information to cover. Hopefully what we're going to accomplish here is we want to make sure that you all increase your level of understanding what the Hartford does best in the small business owner marketplace. And, we are very dedicated to the small business owner marketplace. You're going to hear that, we write over 1 million small businesses, as well as we write over $3 billion in small business premium. So one of the key things, though, I like to point out, especially in the small business owner market space, is that not all policies are alike. Some companies use ISO forms. There's different versions of the ISO form. Some companies utilize a proprietary form. There's different terms and conditions. These are things but I like to reiterate the importance of that, because when you're sitting down and talking to the small business owner, it's important to really compare coverages as well as finding out what their true needs are. Many policies include business income coverage, but you need to look really closely to see if and how long a waiting period there might be before the coverage is triggered. Lots of small business owners, I'm sure you face this all the time. They talk about best price. But, best price is really going to depend on what exposures a business has and how much risk a small business owner is willing to pay out of pocket if a loss occurs. And really, sometimes the best thing that you can do to help a small business owner is to help them uncover the exposures that they may have never even thought about. And those things that they might have to self-insure, that they're going to retain that risk. And so I have a question out there for everybody. This is another Q&A box thing. Just out of curiosity, what do you think was the best-selling car in California last year? Go ahead and send in your thoughts in the Q&A box. what you think the best-selling car in California was in the year 2012. And I bring this up because, there's lots of car choices, and, we're a state that has a variety of residents and appetites for things. I see a lot of different answers. Actually, a couple of people got it right, and that is Doug and Greg. The Toyota Prius was the best-selling car in California. And, I bring it up only because when you think of the Toyota Prius, it's a car that carries a premium price, okay? It costs more than other cars in its class. People buy it for a variety of reasons, but, it's not the cheapest thing out there. It's not the cheapest thing out there. So just keep that in mind, if you would. And what I'm going to do here just for a moment is we are going to play our video, and I'm going to first unmute this so it will come through my phone line. So let me do this. All right. So here we go. I'm going to, you might have seen this before, but I like to share this. It's a great video. Okay, so there you have it. That's, oops. So, that's a great thing just about the Hartford. And what I wanted to share with you was a marketing survey I came across recently. It's conducted by a marketing research firm called Serious Decisions. And it's regarding what's important to business owners and when you're involved in B2B sales like you guys are, and you're talking to the owners, the chief executive officers, what's important to them from a sales perspective and being a sales representative. So, the obvious things are, there's an expectation that you're going to cultivate some sort of a personal relationship, show that you care about their business. But part of the survey said that, people don't necessarily, that's not what they're focused on. That's kind of obvious, and they don't have time to waste with that. They said twice as important is the fact that you demonstrate a deep expertise about their company. So they're going to be more impressed. They're going to trust you more if you go and meet with them, and you've already done your research. You've gone to Google. You know about their company. You know who their competitors are. You know about their industry. That's more important than just showing up and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do a good deal." But 4 times as important was that people that own businesses, that run businesses, what's important to them is that you can share insights about their industry. What are other businesses like them doing to protect themselves? What do they need to be aware of? How can they respond to the requirements? And an example might be, for healthcare providers, which is an area that Hartford has a big appetite, right? Is, what about their response to being able to comply with HIPAA requirements? A lot of healthcare providers are shifting over to electronic data files, and it's, a cumbersome process. What are other businesses doing? How can they protect themselves? And really what I think is important is your ability to deliver a differentiated value message. The ability to say, hey, I'm not just some guy that's going to get you a policy and a cheap price. I'm here, I understand. So I want to just kind of lay the foundation of why I put this together, is to really put this webinar together to give you guys some tools. Now, in our industry, we hear regularly about, folks are shifting over to wanting to buy online. There's more and more online purchasing. A few years back, the thought of small business or business insurance being purchased online, it was really incidental, but it's grown over the last several years, and it continues to grow. Research done by Deloitte shows that about 16% of the people that they surveyed would buy their coverage online, with 35% more somewhat likely. So the people are still, looking at this, and it's growing. But you'll notice almost half are not very likely to buy online, and the other graphic here shows which lines of business that they might consider. What I think is a little bit more important is the next graphic that I have to share, and that's this. Of the people that Deloitte surveyed, two-thirds almost, 66%, they don't want to do business directly with an insurance company because they don't trust the insurance company to deal with them fairly. I mean, that's a sad commentary on our industry. But what it means for you as an independent insurance agent, as a trusted advisor, is that more than half are looking for that individual service that you can provide to them. They're looking that you're going to be their advocate in the event that a claim might occur, and you're going to be there as their advisor to make sure that they don't overlook a potential exposure. So there really is a very, very strong case for you as an independent agent to bring value to the insurance process. And again, I mentioned the differentiated value message. Not only are you an expert about their industry, but potential exposures that they have, and able to highlight for them, the types of things that they may not have thought of. And what we're about today is really to kind of share with you some tools that the Hartford provides so that you can be more professional and more positive and proactive in your ability to deal with customers. So I know most of you out there, we hooked you because we talked about the things that we focus on, that we're most successful on. And so this next graphic here is our competitive classes. This is primarily based on San Diego County, and the information comes from one of our territory managers, our California State Territory Manager, put together a tool that we can use to look at really where we're writing business by county, by SIC, by class of business, and what our yield ratios are and where we're competitive. And so what I've done is I've taken the information, and I've taken the information where we hit on more than 30% of the time. That we have more than a 30% yield, meaning like a baseball player. Out of 10 at-bats, we hit the ball at least 3 times. Now, if you were a baseball player and you could hit the ball 3 times out of 10 at-bats, you'd probably be making a bunch of money, a bunch of money. So we wanted to give you some things that's where we're hitting. So first of all, should become no surprise to any of you, these professional offices that I've got listed here, lawyers, consultants, insurance agencies, architects, investment companies, real estate, tax preparers. These are classes of business where we are, batting 300 or more, and also where these classes of business indicate where when we've compared our premium, what we've quoted, we're at least $1 better than the expiring premium. So not only are we successful at writing this, but we're competitive price-wise. Another area, which should be no surprise, because I know Bo talks about this to you all the time, is our outpatient health care. Dentists, physicians, acupuncturists, optometrists, radiology labs, our day spas, and that's our animal hospitals in there. It's not human health care, but it's animal health care, and it's another area that we're successful in.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. Sorry to interrupt. That's a pretty hot class for us, at least in my territory, those animal hospitals. And I will be digging a little deeper into the outpatient healthcare field a little later in this presentation. So no worries there.
That's right, Bo. And again, I forgot to mention, and Bo will talk about it as well, but Bo has the ability to work with you on an agency level, taking a look at what you already write with us and, looking to cross-sell where you have the most probability of being successful. What I'm presenting today is primarily the Spectrum class codes. We have similar information that we've developed on workers' comp and on auto. It's not really as comprehensive as what we have on Spectrum on our BOP, but we do have some of that Bo can talk to you about. Another area, and all of the information that I'm sharing with you today is really very specific to San Diego County. Now, a lot of this information applies throughout Southern California, give or take a few different classes of business, but this is very specific to San Diego County, and I want to share that and make you aware of that. So
Alan, I will say this, though. I think I've looked at the Orange County data, and it's very similar. So I just want to put that out there that, definitely don't limit yourself just to San Diego County. Orange County as well, specifically, is very, very similar. These competitive classes, almost every one of those is in there as well.
That's right. And again, like I said, it's pretty pervasive throughout Southern California, these classes of business, so you can focus on it. Now, no surprise, down in the San Diego area, we've got a lot of biotech and medical device stuff where we will write X the products, something to think about. And on the next page here, what I have is a variety of business and personal related services. We have commercial janitorial services, barbershop and beauty parlors, wedding consultants, employment agencies, some recording studios, film production. In those film production studios, you're really looking at where they're doing more technical productions and maybe some commercials, things like that, not theatrical productions, etc. The next area that I've got is some light retail type things, coffee shops and no cooking, so your Starbucks and your coffee bean and tea, caterers, bakery stores with cooking. So let's go write all the cookies and cakes out there. That could be fattening. Some other retailers, gift shops, sporting goods, vitamin stores, art dealers. Fair amount of art dealers, especially in like in La Jolla and galleries in downtown. And then some light manufacturing. Again, bakery products manufacturing, metal job shops, machine shops, where they're doing primarily just parts, parts is parts, and some wood manufacturing. So these are the classes of business, and as I said, these are the things that we have been batting at least 300, so at least 3 out of 10 times we're going to write this, and we're competitive. And now, not to say that we don't have a broad appetite, that we don't want to do other things, but what I wanted to focus on were the things where we have been most successful. So making it easy for you, I'm going to let Bo talk about something that probably he's been talking about for months now.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly having. Most of you probably are tired of hearing about it, but I'm going to do it one more time at least. And actually, I take that back. I'm going to do it more than just once. But I really want to talk about our new icon for Spectrum, what we came out with just recently, just a few months ago. We did this for work comp about maybe a year and a half ago, but we're exponentially excited about doing it for Spectrum. This is really what we feel like is really going to help you and it really helped take some time away, put some more time back on your plate. What it did was, it just made it a lot quicker and easier to quote a piece of Spectrum business. We were able to get a bindable quote a lot quicker. I mean, there's just a lot of things that came with it that we put a lot of investment into and we're really excited about. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, definitely reach out to me. I'll be happy to dig much deeper into this and go through it. But really, the crux of it is it's easier and you can get a new quote within a matter of just a few minutes. I mean, 5 tops.
That's right. But there's other things too that we've done to upgrade things, right, Bo?
Yeah, no, there's and with a ton of enhancements. The one that I'm probably most excited about, and there's a lot of them that I'm not excited about, but these on-demand coaching messages that are next to all the different coverage options. They're designated by these little question marks. You click on the question mark, like right here, this business personal property. You can see it actually gives you it gives you the messages, the designated, so you can click on that question mark, and it's easy to see just what's included, like in business personal property. What's included in business personal property? It shows you right there. Not only that, but it also provides that blue hyperlink that will take you to the actual coverage form so you can review it. So, I mean, things that you used to have to kind of look for now are just right there, right in front of you. Easy to find, easy to talk to a prospective insured while you're quoting their business.
Well, and another great thing too is there's a big button that's on while you're quoting that you can click on that says stretch comparison, right, Bo?
Yes, there is. And I mean, before we just had that slide rule that opened up a new window, and it gave you kind of it was a little tough to maneuver. I mean, you were able to have the info that you needed was there, but it wasn't like it is now. We just came out with this recently. It probably looks pretty new to most of you. It gives our various stretch options. You can click on one button, and the new stretch comparison pops up. It shows you what's included in our core spectrum policy, and then along with it, it'll show you the additional coverages provided by each of the stretch options. Something that another thing that we put in there that it makes it a lot quicker to be able to find what you're looking for and get the right info into the system and get the quote.
Well, that's right, Bo. And, in addition to these tools that make it easy for you and quick for you, one of the big messages that we heard from all of the agents out there was, hey, if we quote something, I want to know that this thing's going to get issued. I don't want to have a surprise when I submit it. And the big thing that we did is you'll now know if it's bindable. So what bindable means is this is a done deal. Hey, if you're ready to issue it, go ahead and issue it right now, and we'll issue the policy. It's not going to go to underwriting. No one's going to ask you more questions. No one's going to say, I don't think so. But the other thing that you have available when it's bindable, you've got available, maybe you need some pricing. So if you come over here to where it says request pricing, in California, in most classes, we're filed up to 25% schedule credit. But I can tell you that, if you put more than 10% schedule credit on it, it's going to probably end up being a referral and not a bindable item anymore. But, pricing is available to you, just a simple click away. Once you've done some pricing, you can go ahead and get a proposal. The proposal is no longer going to be emailed to you. It's going to be right here and live, and it even has some marketing materials. It has a breakdown of our billing plans. Everything you want is right there. And then you can propose it to your customer, and if they're not ready to issue right then and there and give you the deal, you can reserve it for your agency for 60 days. Now, if something's not bindable, it will be a refer item. And let me really make it very clear. If you get a referral item, refer to underwriting, there'll be a little blue link. You click on it. It says find out why. It doesn't mean we don't want it. It just means that an underwriter needs to review it. In fact, our whole business model has changed. We've taken all the things that are really slam dunk simple things, and if they're bindable, an underwriter doesn't have to spend time looking at it. You don't have to send it in for pre-approval. It's a done deal. Now the underwriters have extra time to look at those things that perhaps are a little bit tougher to underwrite, things that maybe need a little bit more pricing on, and your underwriter wants to work with you if it's a refer item. So if you get a refer, please refer it to us and work with your underwriter. But that's just the tool, making it quick, making it easy. And the other thing that we have is we have a variety of tools that you can use when you talk with your prospects and your existing customers. There's all kinds of diagnostic tools and resources, and Bo and I are going to talk about some of those. This one is just a simple business insurance coverage checkup that you can go over with your customer. It's really an opportunity to have a conversation, to talk about things. And Bo, one of the classes of business that we saw that we've been very competitive on is our technology area. What's this tool going to help an agent do?
Yeah, I'm sure some of you saw when we had the list of classes that we're doing really well with. There were a few tech classes in there, actually probably more than a few. And this is what this tool is our fail-safe coverage analyzer. Now, the question comes, who needs fail-safe, which is like a tech E&O product? Your software and computer-related services, right? Your prepackaged or custom software developers, or your website designers, or computer consultants, or system integrators, or maybe even an electronics manufacturer, like electronic components or computer manufacturer, or telecommunications and connectivity services, like a local exchange carrier, website host, something like that. Those are the perfect classes that would be right in line for our fail-safe E&O coverage. And you can see there we have 3 different ones. And what this tool does is it gives you an idea of what each one entails, what each one covers. And you can see our fail-safe mega right there. That is exclusively to our Spectrum policy holders. They can get a Tech E&O fail-safe mega right there attached to their Spectrum policy. The fail-safe Giga is more of a standalone Tech E&O product. By the way, I need to go back real quick. The fail-safe mega, you can quote on Icon and get possibly even get a bindable quote right there on Icon. But the fail-safe Giga and the fail-safe Terra, those are our standalone Tech E&O products, and it shows you what goes into those, and those can be quoted right through your select customer tech new business underwriter.
Well, that's right, Bo, and not only technology, but what's this stuff about outpatient healthcare?
Yeah, here's another tool for the outpatient healthcare practices, and I kind of had mentioned earlier that I'm going to talk a little bit more about outpatient healthcare. This is just a tool that is useful for you when you're working with an insured in the outpatient healthcare field, which are classes that we write a lot of in San Diego and Orange County. This tool and also that tech one that you saw can be obtained through me or on I market on EBC. And you can see right there, for outpatient healthcare, it highlights, actually talks about our work comp needle stick injury coverage, how we do our claims handling with that, which is something that we feel like, I shouldn't say we feel like, but we know that we do differently than everybody else. It also talks about just some stretch endorsements for outpatient healthcare, and some key points on that, and then kind of highlights how we expanded our appetite for high-value medical equipment over $1 million value. We were able to actually put on the Spectrum policy, and it talks about that too. So this is just a good tool to be able to use with prospective insurers that are in the outpatient healthcare field.
Well, and Bo, not only do we have tools like that, but we have some other tools that we utilize. Hopefully in your email recently, you got an email talking about our technology marketing campaign. And we do a variety of campaigns throughout the year. But not only that, one of the great things that we've developed that you can access through the Hartford website, the public website, as well as you can actually go to YouTube and find these things, is we have what's called Chalk Talks. And there's Chalk Talks that talk about just general business income for healthcare, E&O coverages for technology. Just these great little tools and little vignettes that take just a couple of minutes, and you can share those with your prospects and customers. And then we also have, we just started publishing recently, it's called Small Biz Ahead. It's an e-zine, e-based magazine that you can actually take content from this, and you can put it into your newsletters, you can put it onto your LinkedIn site, you can forward it to your customers and they can get a copy of it. But again, it's more content to help you become more the expert in various classes of business, as well as to demonstrate to your clients that you're really about working with them and you're a professional and a trusted advisor. The public website, if you've never been there, the www.thehartford.com/small business insurance. Great place for you to go or for you send your customers. This happens to be just a piece of information that talks about the outpatient healthcare industry, and it gives you a breakdown as to where the claims are most frequently going to come from. And again, a great tool for you to utilize to learn more about specific industries.
Yeah, I think just to jump on top of that there, our website, thehartford.com, it sounds kind of generic, but it's a very useful website. I mean, it's got a lot of info. I use it myself to obtain some info, and I think some of those tools that we've already showed are probably housed in that website as well. But I don't want to discount that website enough, and that is a very, very important and useful website to use.
Well, that's right, and they are accessible. Many of the tools are at the website. Now, we talked about some classes of business earlier, and we showed you, and a lot of them, what I want to point out is we do have specialized stretch endorsements, and you can find this under the products and services under in the EBC, and this is in the Spectrum Manual. This is showing you all of our basic stretches, and you can see we have stretches for a variety of classes of business. So we talked about janitorial services, and the restaurant stretch would apply to caterers, and we have technology, etc. But when we look at our super stretches, here we have a bunch of really great ones. We have a super stretch for law offices, for life sciences, for manufacturers, medical offices, metal workers, restaurants, technology. Again, you can come in here and ahead of time, before you're quoting something, take a look at what do those stretch endorsements provide. We've tried to make it simple. We have a stretch product platform that's kind of based on a good, better, and best approach. You should all be familiar, when we do prepare a proposal, the stretch endorsements include some coverages that aren't necessarily normally included in a box, and back to the very beginning statement that I made, proposition about that not all policies are the same, they're not equal. Our stretch endorsements truly do add coverage to fill in the gaps. And so finally, we've got this outpatient health care stretch option. And this is very specialized. It is an area that we have a very large appetite for. And really the key things that we've done on this outpatient health care is we've specialized in providing additional coverage for spoilage of perishable medicines and medical supplies. So we normally will provide some temperature change, but the definition is kind of limited. By expanding it to the perishable medicines and medical supplies, think about this. Many physicians and healthcare providers not only have vaccines and medicines, but some of the things that they have, they've been given by pharmaceutical representatives. So they don't really have a financial interest in them per se, but if they were to lose those things, as a result of a temperature change, a spoilage situation, it would cost them money to replace it. And so that is included in our coverage. So it's really a good thing. You can get all of our coverage forms online and read what it says, but you'll find it's very, very broad and broad coverages. One of the unique coverages we provide for outpatient health care has to do with the way we would approach business income. So think about this for a moment. At a medical office, if they had like a small fire in one of the exam rooms and they had to shut down for several days or even just a day, and they had to reschedule, say, 20 or 30 patients for that day, what's their business income loss? I mean, if you had these patients, you rescheduled them, you didn't see them that day, but you saw them another day, did you actually lose money? And so what we have available for the healthcare field is they have a choice at the time of loss. They can pick a daily limit option, which is they could choose to take $500 a day. It's up to 10 business days. Or they have an option they can take a daily average limit. So it's very simple to figure out what your daily average business income is and then count up how many days you were shut down and have that available. So they don't have to have their bookkeeper go through these gyrations of trying to calculate what was their actual business income loss. And then finally, I like to point this out. This can impact just about any business. And I want you to think about, I'm going to show you a video here in just a moment, but think about any customers that you have who might have billable hours, or even for yourself. What if there was a power outage and you couldn't open your doors for, say, a few days? Would you lose business income? And if you did, is it covered? So that's included, and it's included in our regular stretch as well. So I'm going to switch on over to, I do have another video to share with you. You might have seen this, maybe not. I think it's a good thing to share, and I'll key this up here.
Our company started in 1968. John Mueller and a couple of his friends started a business. So we've come a long way from one person firm to where we are today.
We are located 35 miles west of the city of Chicago. We do definitely have that Chicago connection. 90 years, the practice has evolved. We try to maintain the small business scale, but we are growing.
Last year during the summer, there was a big storm and we lost power. We were down for 30 hours. Most CPAs go by the hour, so with the people being unable to work, it was kind of a hardship for that day we had. After we were back up, we called Tom Connors, he's our agent.
By the Hartford Group, we carry our business interruption coverage. Anytime I place a phone call, they're right there, they understand our business, and we'll practice it run very quickly, very smoothly. We were able to expedite the claim process. They were just phenomenal at Hartford. It's wonderful.
It's a great feeling to be there and be able to respond. Without insurance, when something happens, you're out of business. Life's work is gone. And we want to be there to make sure that this doesn't go away.
What they do for us was remarkable. Nobody expects to ever have to use their insurance, but it is there. The things that I do on a day-to-day basis to have something that's really is a wonderful thing.
And I want to apologize to you out there, the folks who are getting the sound through their computer. I've been playing it also through the phone because there's some people indicated that they don't have sound in their computer, and so you might be kind of getting some double sound or what have you. I apologize for that. If that's happening, go ahead and turn down the volume on your computer. But business income, I don't know how many of you think about that exposure, billable hours, but in our targeted classes of business, all of those professional offices, we have accountants, lawyers have billable hours, lots of consultants have billable hours. So one of the big things that's important to recognize is that loss of business income is the primary reason most businesses don't reopen after serious loss. And we've looked at this exposure. We include it in our spectrum policy. And again, not all policies include the coverage. Maybe sometimes, insureds choose not to buy the coverage. And we would hope that as a trusted advisor, as a professional, you would kind of highlight to your prospects and insureds the value of the business income coverage. One of the things we just talked about there was the off-premises utility services, but we include in our form not only the off-premises utility services, coverage for dependent properties. So some of your small business owners, they're going to have perhaps a major supplier that either provides a component part to something they're manufacturing, or if you're a retailer and you specialize in maybe carrying certain brands or certain styles, and one of your major suppliers has had a fire and they can't get your materials to you, you're going to lose money. Or even if you're a retailer and there's an anchor tenant, Nordstrom is the big draw to the shopping center. Nordstrom has a fire and they shut down for almost a year, and over that period of time, you watch your revenue be cut in half. Well, that's an exposure or loss due to a dependent property. That's covered by our policy. Or let's say maybe a third of your income comes from your website, and somebody's gone in and hacked your website, they've vandalized it, they've rerouted people from your website to someone else's website so that you're losing income. That's a business income loss. And then we also include the extended business income. So after we've repaired the damage and we open our doors, so if we were shut down for say 3 or 4 months, some of our customers might have gone elsewhere. That first month that we reopen, I'm going to really speculate here that our income is going to maybe be half of what it used to be. It's going to definitely be less than what it was before our loss, and the extended business income is going to make up the difference. So all of this is what's included, as well as you can increase the limits available. So another thing that you can think about discussing with your customers. And earlier, Bo talked about our tech E&O. And, this really is an area that, especially when you're quoting our spectrum policy, you can get a pricing indication for the E&O coverage. That will have to be referred for binding approval from a tech underwriter. But you can get a pricing indication and know what it's going to cost. And I have one other quick video to show you here. And this is kind of a unique one because what you'll find is sometimes somebody doesn't really do something wrong, but let's watch this and see.
2.5 years ago, the bell rang for delivery. About 45 seconds later, Janet beat me and said, we got service with the lawsuit. I started around $300,000. Over time, they actually grew the amount of the claim, claiming over $100 million. Internet started 18 years ago. We started as a dial-up internet service provider. Now we're dedicated here in Cleveland to focus on phone services. We're giving phone services, phone services. Our customer, Internet, went to collect overdue fees that were owed to them by one of their clients. The client refused to pay our customer. So their client countersued Internet for a failure to perform, breach of warranty, some type of negligent act. This is how many professional liability claims actually started with some type of fetus. Ed called the office to let us know that he had received two papers and wanted to know what to do about it. We told them we weren't sure about coverage, that we would turn it into Hartford, and then follow up with the progress of the claim. It wasn't long after that that Hartford made a decision that, yes, there's coverage in place, and we took full responsibility for the claim. We stepped in, by the way, we found that it was a frivolous claim. We connected our customer into that with legal counsel that was really top-notch, one of the best law firms in the area. Not only make sure that the customer got the positive result from the summary judgment, but also collected the money that was owed them and kept his reputation intact, kept his business intact, and kept his operations up and running. You don't have to do something wrong to be sued. There just has to be an allegation that should have been completed. If it weren't for George in the Hartford worst-case scenario, I come along with it. We, of course, made the recommendation to place coverage with Hartford. We're only as good as the company that we recommend. The Hartford was thoughtful and responsive, and ultimately, most importantly, they were honorable in the coverage that they provided. It's not the piece of paper. It's whether or not that company is going to be there for you when you need them, when you have that claim, so the customer can be protected and ultimately prevail.
Okay, so I don't know if any of you had seen that yet. It's a fairly new video that we have out.
Alan, I hadn't even seen it.
Well, there you go. There you go. See, I get to stuff sometimes that not everyone gets to see. Anyway, so, what I want to point out is Hartford has a lot of tools we make available to you. All the videos that I've shown today are available to you to share with your prospects and your clients. They're available at our website. They're actually available at YouTube. So, these are things that you can use. And I'm going to pick up the pace a bit. I'm going to talk about some things you've heard about, but I want, again, to frame this from the perspective of the classes of business where we've been successful writing the business and we're competitively priced, and the exposures that they have and things that hopefully you're talking to them about. And that's data breach. And data breach, again, it concerns personal identifiable information. You can see on our screen there, it's license numbers, social security numbers, credit card information, etc. But, the important part of when you talk to somebody about data breach is this, and that is that Verizon, our wonderful phone providers out there, actually do internet as well, but they did a study last year, and in their study, they found that 3/4 of all of the data breaches that were analyzed the year before involved businesses where they had less than 100 employees. So look at that. It's really the bulk of them is in that 11 to 100 employees. Our bread and butter, our target audience, the small business owner, and these are people who think maybe they don't have an exposure. The other thing is a data from the Phonom Institute, which is they do a lot of research about things regarding security and data breach, etc. They said the average cost per compromised record was about $194. So think of this. If you had 1,000 customers, and I bet each of you have files in your office for 1,000 customers that over the years, maybe they're not your current customers, but you have 1,000 files. And if somebody were to steal the files or breach that data somehow, and you had to notify those people, you had to take various procedures. The average cost is $194, so 1,000 files, 1,000 customers, $194,000. If you're a small business, I think that's going to put you out of business. Just a thought there. But really what's important when you discuss data breach, it's not what first comes to mind always. We think computer hacking. A lot of companies talk about cyber liability, and maybe the forms and the coverage that they provide deals with cyber liability. But guess what? A lot of the data breaches, they're not involved with cyber hacking or computer hacking at all. They're involved with simple old stealing a laptop, stealing a computer, stealing a file from an office. And get this, you have to think about this as part of your discussion with somebody, that a data breach isn't necessarily that the information has been gotten out there or leaked out there and somebody has now used it to do an identity theft situation. A data breach is simply the insured, the business owner, has somehow lost control of that data. That data is in your care, custody, and control. Most of you know there's a big care, custody, and control exclusion in general liability form. And, so as soon as it's been leaked, guess what? There's a data breach. And depending on what state you're in, you might have an obligation to notify it. So, stolen or lost documents or files, stolen credit card information, employee error or oversight. Maybe you told someone, hey, go shred those files, and they're in a rush, and they just sort of accidentally dumped that box of files into the trash. Trust me, that happens. I've heard of half a dozen cases where that's occurred. Or maybe you have a disgruntled employee that decides to release it. But all of those represent a data breach occurrence. So it's more than just someone hacking into your computer. And from a Hartford standpoint, all of those things are covered in our form. And some further data that the Verizon folks came across, which was that 97% of the data breaches that were investigated by the Secret Service were considered avoidable. And, one of the great things that Hartford does provide is two types of coverage. First party coverage, which is going to help protect the insured and give and provide money to notify, etc., and money for defense. And so I'm going to have Bo tell you a little bit about one of the vendors we use. Bo?
Yeah, so Identity Theft 911 is a vendor that we partner with for our data breach preparedness and crisis resolution. They are what we link up and insure with if they have a data breach endorsement, and we're talking the minimum 10,000 first-party limit. This gets you access to this Identity Theft 911, and it allows you to show your insured and their appropriate team members in their organization that they can cross-check and see that they're taking the most effective actions to avoid a potential data breach incident before it ever happens. So it's a really good tool that comes along with the data breach endorsement. And then as we talked about earlier, what kind of information does a data breach include? We talked about social security numbers, bank account numbers, all the way down to patient history and medications. But like I said before, it provides first and Alan also said too, provides first and third party response coverage, and here are the limits that are available. It's on a claims made basis, and then you can endorse it right onto the spectrum policy. Quick little story I want to tell is that an agency just a few weeks ago, and the CSR had let me know that they just read an minimum premium box, and I asked if she had put data breach on it, and she said she wasn't sure that she had. We went in and looked at it real quick and I was curious to see hey, let's put 25,000 in first-party coverage and just see what it does to the premium. With the premium was at $500. So we put it in and requoted it, and it came up as still $500. So oftentimes, if you're writing a small minimum premium BOP, you could add data breach at no charge just based on the fact that you haven't hit that minimum yet. So something to keep in mind. And even if you have hit the minimum, I think the minimum cost for the $10,000 in first-party coverage is only like $35.
That's right, Bo. And at minimum, if you just quote that $10,000 of that first-party response limit, it's a start, and it's going to give your insured access to those resources. And we have some other resources. I'm going to go through this and pick up the pace here, but Bo can get you information. There's a tool called databreachcalculator.com. It's a free public site that you can go to. You can plug in some information about a prospect or insured and kind of show them what it could cost them if they had a data breach. There's another site that lists all the various data breaches that have been reported. Very interesting. There's data breaches that involve, millions of customers, these big, TJ Maxx, etc., all the way down to, a little medical office in Fresno that someone broke in and stole a computer. Good supporting information. And this is a big one. Anybody who does business outside of the state of California, through the internet or whatever, every state has their own regulations regarding data breach. So, believe it or not, if you don't know what the requirements are, like maybe, again, you lost a file and it's misplaced and now, you just don't know where it is, there might be a requirement in another state that you notify your customer that that's occurred. And if you don't notify them, you could be fined. So at minimum, we did talk about what's covered under our data breach. The first-party coverage, there's all these things highlighted here. And, quote a $10,000, $20,000 limit and include it. At minimum, you should include it just because you want to protect your own E&O exposure. So it's kind of important that way. So I'm going to change gears here. We talked primarily most of the morning on Spectrum. We've geared it towards our successful Spectrum appetites. And, we're also competitive on auto. And for most of the classes that we saw today, we love the auto as well. But I want to talk about what differentiates the Hartford. And what really differentiates the Hartford and why not all policies are alike is the Hartford adds a broad form endorsement to every auto policy we write. It adds 19 additional coverages. And I've highlighted a few of them. Probably the biggest one here I'm going to talk about is the hired auto physical damage. So if you have a customer who rents any kind of vehicles, they rent a big truck to deliver something, a big box van, or they need to rent a big flatbed, whatever, the value of that might exceed $35,000, which is the industry average on the hired auto physical damage. You might get calls from your customers when they're at the rental facility saying, hey, they want to sell me this rental stuff here, and it's going to be costing me an extra $100. Oh, and by the way, they want me to buy this coverage that, if I damage their vehicle, they're going to charge me loss of business income. Well, the Hartford, in our broad form here, we include the loss of business income as well as the physical damage. So that's all there. And you can see some other things. A big thing is that many businesses are required to provide additional insured endorsements that have primary and non-contributory language. That's automatically included. We don't charge extra for those. In fact, we don't charge on our bot for that as well. Now, if you haven't written or quoted a Hartford auto policy recently, last year we changed our whole pricing model. And the big thing why we did this was because, we used to rate it based primarily on territory, size of the vehicle, the radius, etc. So if you had a business owner who was conscientious, he has really good drivers who don't have any accidents and violations, he's not had claims, he's financially sound, you have all of those factors, he's going to get the same rate as the guy who has some drivers with questionable driving records, has had a few accidents, etc. So now our rating plan is heavily weighted to look at claim frequency. We're going to evaluate the MVRs on the driver's list up front. So anybody who drives on a regular basis, you want to include them in your quote up front. You have lots of good drivers, and they're all, over the age of 25. That's great. We're going to probably develop a credit there, and we're going to run a business credit. So if they're financially sound, they're going to get a better rate than somebody who's having financial problems. And going to workers' comp. We love workers' comp as well. Some people think that, Hartford, workers' comp, you guys have, pulled back or something. No, that's not true. We do write workers' comp. We're willing to write workers' comp. We want to write workers' comp, and we're a great market for workers' comp. We want to balance our book, obviously. We don't want to write just only workers' comp, and we want to write the BOPs. That's why we're really helping you focus in on where we're successful writing the BOPs. But in addition to the wonderful physician networks that we provide and the claims handling, how many of your carriers will offer your small business owners payroll billing? And I'm sure Bo's talked about it ad infinitum, right, Bo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if I haven't, definitely contact me, because I'd be happy to go over it with you.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that we put in your toolkit for you, that you can offer your small business owners the option of payroll billing, so they don't have to come up with those large deposit premiums, etc. So we've covered a lot of ground today, and I know I've talked a lot. I've been accused of talking too much, but I'm going to wrap it up with just a few conversation starters. Really, I'm a strong supporter of the independent agency force out there, and the role of the independent agent and the ability to be that trusted advisor. And a lot of times it just takes having a lot of questions to ask your prospects and customers about what their exposures are, because they don't know sometimes, So, you can ask your customers, hey, do they ever have occasion to rent large trucks? And are they paying that extra physical damage coverage from the rental company? Because it's going to be included with the Hartford. So, when you start comparing premiums, if they're shelling out $400 or $500 a year for that extra physical damage coverage when they rent vehicles, have them compare that to it's included in the Hartford premium. What about asking about if their contracts require them to provide primary non-contributory language, whether it's on the commercial auto policy or even on our BOP, on our Spectrum? And does the current carrier charge them for those additional insured endorsements? We don't. Now, we had that great video about the off-premises utility business income, and, ask them about the unusual storms and weather we've had countrywide. Everyone's had these things, or, fires and things like that will knock out utilities. What would happen if you didn't have access to your office just because of a power failure or no water or no phone system? Would you lose money? What about billable hours? Again, these are areas that many businesses don't think about. And the data breach, okay? What would happen if somehow, there was a data breach? Not that just, something was hacked, but somebody stole a laptop that had information, that somebody broke in your office and stole files and stole computers, or simply you lost the files or accidentally threw them away and they weren't shredded. How would you deal with it? And finally, do you currently have a payroll billing option, a pay-as-you-go on your workers' comp? So back to my original premise, I hope that we've increased your level of understanding of what the Hartford does best in the small business owner marketplace. You can see that we have specialized coverages, which really dovetail very nicely with the classes of business that we've been successful writing, and some great conversations that you can have with your customers. And I really think one of the best resources that we provide to you is your sales rep. Bo can help you take a look at the business that you write with us, where you've been successful. He can take a look at things maybe you quoted a year ago or so, that a year ago or so maybe we weren't competitive, but now we are, or maybe a different way to classify it. So, talk with Bo. Bo is the guy. He's the guy who's going to help you out. And, again, what I would like is, you can give me some feedback, and I'll give you my email here in just a moment. But, Bo, you have any closing comments you'd like to make?
No, thanks for the kind words there, Alan. Yeah, I feel like we covered a lot, and we're definitely past the hour mark. I just wanted to say that, if there's anything that piqued your interest in anything that we showed you today, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would love the opportunity to come in and talk more about anything. But I just really, more than anything, just want to thank you for your time and logging in and calling into this. This is something that I think I'm going to try to do a little bit more of, and with Alan's help, and I'd really just appreciate you guys logging in, and then I would also appreciate your feedback afterwards. So I'll be probably reaching out to you as well. But just want to say, more than anything, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Bo, and thank you, everybody. And I'm serious. There's my email address, alan.berkowitz@thehartford. Please send me some comments. This is really sort of a pilot project that we've started. I was talking with Bo about putting this together, and you guys are the first people that got to hear this from us, and I'd be interested to hear, if you thought it was worthwhile, if you thought it was too much, give me some feedback. And again, thank you again, and we do appreciate all the efforts that you make on the behalf of your insurers, and we appreciate the business that you place with the Hartford. You all have a great day.